What is up and welcome back everyone. Today is day 2 of painting, and not even painting, just priming the roof of the Forester. We're getting all that rust off. If you guys haven't seen yesterday's was a bunch of time-lapsing of doing that, and today's going to be about the same, just because we're going to get this done. We're going to get it ready to go and ready to install the parts in these boxes that are behind me. So first we got to take off the tape and paper from yesterday. I left that on because I just really didn't want to remove it at night, so kind of just left it. So we can take a look at it in the sunlight, but you can see my great tape job. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, yeah, it's not super easy to remove, which really sucks, but we're gonna remove all this. There we go. So we removed all the painter's tape and stuff, and I'm noticing how bad that can is. So I put a different nozzle on, and I guess it was a wrong nozzle because overspray. Good thing though is we are going to be cutting the whole car actually with polish, doing a 2-stage polish to get it nice and shiny after all of this is done. So I'm not too worried about overspray because it's all going to get cut off anyways. But there we go. Look at all the spots. You can actually see where it kind of like seeped through just because, ooh, yeah, it's still kind of wet. So I'm going to give it a day to cure. So I'm going to give it today. That's why I want to finish the primer today, is because it will cure in the sun today and then I can sand it tomorrow. It says 3 days, but who waits for primer for 3 days? So we're not doing that. So next thing is going to be getting the rest of the spots. So up there and then up here, and then I have a couple spots right here I want to get done. I just want to get the stuff that are near the done first, and then we can work on the rest of the car when we're waiting for all the fun parts with the well, now you know something. If you paid attention to that, you know what's going on now. But you don't know what's going on, so it's still a little bit of a mystery. So next thing is going to be doing the whole process again of chopping up the roof with the angle grinder and stuff and getting all those rust spots off. In case you missed last time, so what we're using is like a Dremel pretty much with some coarse sandpaper on the end. Then we grind the rust spots down like that guy right there. And then once we've done all of them on the roof, what we're going to do is, I was using 20 grit sandpaper by hand, put it on an electric sander with all ends, speeds it up a little bit. Before that I actually used this fine sandpaper just to smoothen out the edges, get it a little more level. And then we hit it with a 220 grit, 1000 grit just to smooth it out and then prime it. So it's not a huge deal, it just takes forever, especially when there's this many spots on your roof. There we go. So we have all of the spots now cleaned up, and I'm just firing up the air compressor to blow these all off. And then you know the deal, we tape it up, we wipe it with lacquer thinner, and we paint it. I also got a couple spots actually on this side for some reason, just this side, that we're going to be doing. So here, 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 and here, and then one right here. So I'm going to tape it up, and it'll probably be another, I don't know, that took me 2 hours, maybe another hour, and then we'll have primed the whole roof and all the little spots here and there, and we'll actually be on our way to painting. And just like that, in 10 seconds for you, about an hour for me, we have the whole thing covered up. So we've got the A-pillar, so got to prime this here, prime here, and the wind just started to pick up too, which is great. And then the whole, I just did the whole roof pretty much here, but we got spots here, got a big spot over there, so this is going to be lots of fun. And then one little spot here. So as I said, 2 coats, we're going to prime. 2 coats, we're going to do a light coat and then a little bit thicker coat, and then we are going to let it dry and cure for 24 hours. So that would be the end of this video. I might try to sand the very first stuff because it's been 24 hours just to make sure that my plan's going to work. But other than that, we're getting close to the end. Good, because it's been 5 to 6 hours since I've started this. So if you're gonna do your roof, plan for at least a weekend of solid work. like that, we are all done priming the roof. Look at all those spots. So these were all rust spots at one point, but now they're primer spots. So we're doing a little bit better. Anyway, so as you guys saw, I primed it. I actually ran out of spray paint or primer halfway through, so I had to use some other stuff that worked 100 times better. It's not purely automotive primer, but it worked really well, so that's what I did. And then I did 2 coats of it, but it says only do 1 coat, but because I did them really quickly, or like no time between each other, I didn't think that's too big of a deal. And that's supposed to be sandable too, which the other stuff never said it was, so maybe we ended up with some better primer in the long run. Anyways, so pretty much that's all today. I cleaned up, got all this stuff off my hood. But there we go, so we got all this primer done. Gonna let it cure for 24 hours and then we're gonna start wet sanding it. I'm actually going to start wet sanding it tonight, but just in the spot we did before. With that, I just soaked some 1000 grit 3M stuff, wet or dry sandpaper, and I got a spray bottle here. And really we're gonna just try one of these spots, and I just wanna see if it works. Because if I start sanding, and I notice, so right now, this is not the way I wanna do it. I wanna put it on a block, so I get these, like, get a flat surface. So I'm gonna do that, but it doesn't look actually like it's clumping up, so it looks like it's actually dry, which is real good. I cannot find the sanding block for the life of me, but I found it. So this guy, I'm just gonna take some 1000 grit and stick it in here. I got the 1000 grit block soaking, and we're just gonna sand it down a little bit. I'm just gonna try tonight and see how it works, but other than that, look at that primer roof. It's like speckled. It's like half gray, half black at this point. It's crazy, but at least we got the rust off. That's the good thing. So I will, once I have the block on, I'll show you guys how it works, and then we'll probably end off the video there. Don't you just love it when something works out exactly the way you thought? So I did a little test patch using that wet sanding block, and it worked out perfectly. So the whole goal is to take off any of the excess and just keep the primer in the area that we primed. So check that out. That's exactly what happened here. And it's smooth, like you can't tell the difference. There's still a little divot, which I thought was kind of bad, but actually it's a good thing because once we put base coat over it, the base coat's probably gonna be about that much. That's gonna fill that in and make it almost level, and then we're gonna break out the wet sand 2000 grit and wet sand that, and then we're gonna clear coat it. And I'm looking at all these dots and I'm thinking like this whole section's gonna be re-cleared, which is quite a lot, but I think might as well, because then once we clear it, we can 2000 grit sand it and then polish it and do all that fun stuff. I don't think this is getting done this weekend because it is 7 o'clock on a Saturday, so I've got one done and I've got like 50 more to go, but I can only do like this area because that's all I know that has guaranteed to be dry. Also the full 4-day thing, yeah, no, it doesn't need to be 4 days. It's fine. It's totally cleared up there, so it's all good. So I'm gonna continue sanding on these for a little bit, but I think that's gonna be the end of today's video. So that's where we are right now. Is we've got some of it sanded down, and tomorrow you'll probably end up seeing actually a little bit more of that sanded to start off. I might work a little bit more. It's getting dark out, it's getting cold out, but I thought I might as well do a little bit more tonight, so maybe 3 or 4. Get those done, and then I'll be done for the day because I've been out here since 10 a.m. But I hope you enjoyed this second day of roof rust fixing. That's what it's going to be called now, I guess. Just made that up on the spot. But if you guys have any questions of how I did any of this, let me know down below. And as I said, make sure to stay tuned for all the fun stuff that's going on in the Forester. We have to do the boring stuff before we get to the fun stuff. But as always, peace out and stay humble.